Jethro Tull lead vocalist Ian Anderson says that some audiences can be incredibly rude. This is the Rock and Roll Weatherman. My name is Sean Morrison. I was reading this article, and he's blasting the use of iPhones at concerts. So you can't yell at me because I have an Android phone. So does Janaki. I'm just being funny there. But he did an interview with Barry Robinson of the Classic Album Review. He spoke about lyrical inspiration for the song Puppet and the Puppet Master from the band's upcoming 24th studio album Curious Ruminant that's coming out via Inside Out Music on March 7th of 2025. And if you're a fan of Jethro Tull and you like his playing of the flute, you'll probably like the album. I haven't done any reviews on any songs of the album yet, but the few songs I've heard I think are pretty cool. Then he said in the part that he wants to be free of feeling that he has to comply with other people's wishes and other people's demands. Because, and he goes on to say, as more demanding as an audience is, the less he can enjoy it because there's occasions when you get a volatile audience due to cultural tendencies in particular places. He's naming Brazil, for example, an audience thinks it's okay to whistle, shout, boo, and shout the names of songs they want to hear. I know sometimes, I'll go to a concert, there's a song I want to hear. Once in a while, you might, you know, say a song that 99% of the time the band's not going to perform because it's probably something they haven't performed in years or whatever. But some artists get mad at that. Believe me, John Cougar Mellencamp or John Mellencamp, whatever you want to call him, of course, throws fans out for shit like that. Now, getting back to Mr. Anderson, he said he found it incredibly rude and don't enjoy it. It's not every concert he's played in Brazil, but he said last year he counted it a couple of times when he was on tour there. There are other national stereotypes where people do behave that way. He says in the United States you would count it that way, where people think it's okay to shout and whistle. I only thought people in Germany. I thought in Germany when fans wanted a boo, they would whistle and they would have whistles. But this is he's he's toward these countries, so he should know. Mr. Anderson also goes on to say it's not okay. He's not. He's trying to concentrate on playing sometimes quite difficult music and doesn't like to be interfered with. He like to have the flexibility to be able to do that. And if the audience set out someone to manipulate you or influence the way of playing, it's not good. For him, it's absolutely sufficient at the end of a song to see smiles on faces and applauding at the appropriate time. It means everything to him. He doesn't want to be interrupted while performing. He says he's not complaining. He clarified. You're reading this, it sounds like he's complaining, but who knows? Things are the way they are. If you're a performing musician, just as if would be if you were the prime minister at the prime minister's question, you have to accept that you're going to get some bad behavior and some interfering with the kind of manipulative demands from backbenchers. It's the way that things are. We have to accept it, but sometimes in this case, it could become a topic of a song, slightly tongue in cheek, and certainly not only applicable to him. It could be a ballet dancer, an opera singer, a thespian in the middle of a Shakespeare dramatic play. It happens to all of us. We're controlling it in a funny kind of way. We're being controlled. He goes on to talk about that. Yeah, I understand his point. Believe me, that the cell phones can be a pain in the ass. Myself and Janaki do attend concerts here and there. Every once in a while, you get the jackass holding up the cell phone for way too long than expected, and he's blocking your view. I don't mean to call the person a jackass, but there's nothing wrong with taping stuff. But I might tape maybe a minute of something so my friends can hear it sometimes, and then post it on social media. But when you're doing it like crazy, it gets out of control. He goes on to say in 1969 he started playing the small theaters in the UK. He took a different track. He like respectful relative silence until they got to the end of the song. Then it was time to applaud. And some people find that difficult these days. I'll be honest. I've never seen Jethro Tull in concert, so I don't know how their audiences honestly are. He's noticed many of his concert experiences in recent years have been completely ruined by the sea of iPhones that go straight up in the air as soon as the show begins. Okay, now I know what he's talking about. I thought of something about the concerts being posted. Ian Anderson then says the first time he encountered it, he suddenly flashed back to playing in a concrete amphitheater in the middle of the woods somewhere in the former East Germany that was actually built for Nazi rallies, and he thought it might just be like that. Then suddenly the sea of bombs shooting in the air, and you suddenly notice they got phones on the end of them. What's bizarre is the audience of Jethro Tull, some of them are 60s and 70s, and I guess there's a lot of 70-year-old people that have iPhones. But we, for some reason, have made polite announcements to request that people restrain the use of cameras and iPhones until the encore, and he says he gets 95% compliance with that, which he's happy with. Sometimes it's 100%. Brazil is about 50%. And usually gets a round of applause when they hear my voice saying that. He goes on to say, because they haven't come to a concert and paid good money for a ticket only to stare at a screen of a person in front of them holding it up. Friends, if you're not subscribed to the Sean Morrison YouTube channel, please do so. Everyone else has to subscribe. We thank much for the continued love, honor, and support. It's greatly appreciated. He said he went to a concert and left early because after the fourth song, he just couldn't face what he was being confronted with. It was embarrassing because he was given free tickets by the artist concerned, but he just couldn't sit there and watch these tiny little fingers on the screen and couldn't see what was happening on the stage with all the arms in the way. And yes, he does find it irritating. So that's comments from Ian Anderson, the lead vocalist of Jethro Tull. And I understand his points and everything, but not everybody brings an iPhone to a concert, of course. Some people have Androids. Some people might have flip phones that might tape stuff. You don't know. But I get what he's trying to say. You know, some concerts don't let you bring cell phones in, and we can put it in some type of a bag or something. But then, you know, with the way the technologies are and with the way emergencies are, sometimes people have to get in touch with their families. So, you know, that's why they have their phones with them. But that's Ian Anderson opinion on this. He states that, like I said, in the interview, he feels that some audiences could be incredibly rude, and he was blasting the use of iPhones at concerts. So your thoughts on what Ian Anderson had to say? Shame, shame, shame.